DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective. Your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
What is going on, draft heads? And welcome in to the Key Pass Collective, back for the 24-25 season. My name's Joe Williams. I will be your host for this particular episode. And actually, the next few episodes will have a common theme. So welcome in and sit back and relax as we talk you through the positions in this year's EPL draft fantasy game. In these next few episodes, we will be going through each position one by one and talking them through in terms of ADP. Now, that's average draft position. So where do each of these players fall in an average draft, and do we think that they are worthy of that particular draft slot? It's going to be a fun one. Stick with us for the next few episodes as we go through and get you ready for your 24-25 drafts. And speaking of that, check out the DraftSociety.com, which of course this podcast is brought to you by the Draft Society. Check out the DraftSociety.com for our latest draft kit. The draft kit is a result of hundreds of hours of work. It is incredible. We've got rankings on there. We've got season projections for all your players. We've got a live draft aid to help you out mid-draft that actually links to your Fantrax profile. We have tiered ranking cheat sheets. We have forecasts for every single Premier League team. We have mock drafts on there. We have analysis articles. We have anything that you can possibly think of. It's all on the DraftSociety.com in this year's draft kit. And we think, first of all, we think it's incredibly worth it. Like I said, there's hundreds of hours of work that goes into it. And we've truly given you our best possible analysis that we can. But second of all, if you look into the draft kit, if you decide to purchase it, you're also supporting an independent fantasy football website. And you know how much we appreciate that. And community, you all are incredible. And we want to again thank you this season just for the humbling response we've gotten to the draft kit. You all are amazing. So check out the draft kit. It's on the DraftSociety.com. And with that, let's go ahead and jump in to this year's positional previews. All right, boys, we are back one more time to go over one more position, and that is forwards. We wanted to get this out ideally before the weekend. People have been clamoring and asking us when they were going to come out because apparently there's drafts this weekend, which feels early to me, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you be comfortable drafting today?
I mean, if we're not comfortable drafting after all of the hundreds of hours, as you mentioned, pouring into participating in such a draft, then fair. Yeah, we should hang it up. But would I like to? No, because it's way too early.
Yeah, exact same answer as Ryan. Like, I'm ready, but all these new transfers are just starting to come, so it's going to be just fab or chaos.
Yeah, and especially as we're here to talk forwards today, and there's one that's purportedly on the brink of being completed, and people who start drafts tomorrow won't have access to that player, or we're going to have to figure out some way to get that player into the league, or I don't know.
Do you want to quickly discuss that, like what leagues usually do in terms of addressing the gap between the transfer window and when you draft?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing to do is probably just direct them to the article that I wrote last year before
There you
the
go.
draft kit. I have a whole article on what to do with transfers in after your draft. And there are a number of ways that you can solve this. Some of them involve using FAB, which is free agent budget. Some of them involve planning before the draft to have sort of like, if you want to call them player tokens that you can use when a player transfers into the league. There's a lot of different ways, and I rank each one of them with a grade, so from A to F. So people should check that out. It's in the draft kit.
But the best real way to do it is to have a live draft as close to the season kickoff as possible.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I mean, that's the only way that you're going to have, obviously the most up-to-date information.
Yeah,
and then if you can couple that with my favorite option is to allow people to draft new transfer, like I said, basically tokens. So basically, if it's the 4th round and I don't love any of my options in the draft, I can take new player 1. And I'm just going to say that's my pick for this round is new player 1. And what that does is that guarantees me dibs on whichever player that comes into the league that I want. And your commissioner just needs to set that up. Your commissioner needs to make sure that for new players that come in, they kind of check in with whoever has the new player tokens and say, hey, this guy just transferred in today. Do you want him? And if it's a no, then he goes on to waivers just like normal.
So you can kind of hold on to that for a couple weeks. It doesn't necessarily have to be that first waiver wire after the draft. Okay,
right.
Interesting.
I like that.
The key is that they check in with you every single transfer. They check in with you to see if you want to use your token on it. And if you don't, then maybe whoever drafted new transfer 2 might use theirs.
Yeah. Risky biz. I like it.
Yeah. It's cool.
I like that strategy.
I remember when
it's a gamble, but if you look at the last couple of seasons, you would have been able to use it on a pretty high upside player like a Kudus or
Doku.
somebody like that. Yeah, Doku.
I remember a few years ago, over the years, we've kind of periodically used random players as that like designee for a particularly high profile transfer that hasn't been in the queue yet.
Yeah.
So I remember we used like Broya for Lukaku, and back then like nobody knew who the hell Broya was, so we just picked the least rostered Chelsea forward at the time to stand in for Lukaku. So it's just funny the kind of designees that have been stand-ins over the years.
Oh yeah.
Last year was Joe Hugo for Manchester United, and I don't even think he's on the roster anymore.
They usually aren't.
It's hilarious when those players actually then become draftable players. Like, I remember one year we used David Datro Fofana for somebody. Who was it? For
Probably another Chelsea forward.
Yeah.
Maybe like Kai Havertz or something.
I can't remember. Anyway, all right, we're getting in the weeds here. We're here to talk forwards. So guys, tell me, and of course, for those who are just listening to the audio audio version, audio companion, that's this, but audio version on the podcast, we're talking to Draft Genie and we're talking to Ryan today. So those are the voices that you're hearing, the disembodied voices, and even if you're watching YouTube, you can see them, but just to give them an introduction. But guys, tell me what your stance on forwards is this year. Like, do you have a really quick, like, sentence strategy you can share with us?
Yeah, I've been talking with Jeannie about this a lot, actually. I think we talked about it in the mids, but I went mid in a lot of my initial mocks and kind of calculations, and quickly realized that the forward pool really dries up after that. And so ideally I don't want to go into round 3 without at least one forward. So I think depending on where you're drafting, forward mid or mid forward in the first 2 rounds is probably a pretty good strategy. That doesn't mean you should reach for Jackson in round 2.
Hey.
Not to preempt your strategy, Jeannie, but I think that's kind of where the cutoff is, like Nunez, Jackson, Cunha territory. But I was going to go best value, and where I was drafting was mid, I think. But I've shifted to mid forward or forward mid, I think.
For me, it's a bit different. It's going to depend what pick I'm at in the draft. Obviously, if I picks one or two, I'm not passing on Saka or Bruno. Or if those two fell to me anywhere in the first round, like screw all strategy, you're taking one of them. It's not even a conversation. But other than that, so there's a couple leagues that have pick 10, and I'm actually considering going forward because I've been starting to like plot my own personal draft strategies. So I've been looking, you could go forward, and then you could spam mids for 2-3 rounds, get a defender in there, and it's actually the kind of roster I've plotted using the mock drafts. It's actually a pretty solid roster. So you get two guys, let's say like Son at pick 10 and then Isak right after the turn. Then you could go again and get like Doku, Garnacho, and then like in the fifth round, like a Sozo's Boys type of guy. And then you go and get like Van Dijk or Dalot in the sixth. So something like that. It gives you the high upside mids, but at the same time, you have two guys who have both contended for the Golden Boot before. And that's what's going to win you games, as opposed to, like Ryan said, you're stuck with, I don't know, Cunha as your forward one, who, yeah, he's a fantastic player, but he's not winning anyone a league.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so you were alluding to kind of the elite forwards.
Yeah.
To start that draft in the 10 spot. So let's look at those quick. But as a quick just kind of like word of warning, or just to let people know what we're doing. So we're going to look at forwards based on ADP. That's average draft position. So these are not the way that we rank the forwards. That's important to note. We are going to discuss these guys based on ADP and if you can get value, or whether we maybe think they're going too early in their various different ADP slots. So that's important to kind of remember. We're going to be talking also about WAR today, which means wins above replacement. So we have a WAR rank for all these players as well that you'll see on the screen. And what the WAR rank is WAR is basically a measurement of how much better is this guy than a random kind of waiver wire average player. And what the WAR rank essentially measures is, over the course of a season, how much more likely are you to win X number of games just because you have this guy over a random average waiver wire guy. So we're going to be looking at WAR rank and kind of comparing that to ADP. But let's talk about those elite forwards you were talking about, Jeannie. So obviously we start with Haaland and Salah. That's not going to surprise anybody. ADP of 2 and 6. I don't think any of us have Haaland ranked that high, but he's going number 1 overall in a lot of leagues just because of that name value, and probably because, like we were talking about Jeannie before we went on air, he did drop a 54 on May 4th against Wolves, so people remember things like that. So that's probably why he's going pretty early. But then you've got Ollie Watkins with an ADP of 7, Son with an ADP of 10, and Isak with an ADP of 12. So my question for you, Jeannie, is, okay, you mentioned if you're at the 10 spot in the draft and you went, let's say, Son, and then you were lucky enough to have Isak there on the turnaround, great. But if he's gone, I mean, that's kind of the end of this top tier, right?
Yeah. Obviously that puts you in a spot, but there is a chance, like, I mean, I'm not going to draft Watkins, but there's a chance he could be there as well if Isak goes, just based off, there's only so many players that could be taken in round 1, right? If you're close to the back end of the turn. But then there's also a few forwards who they're not coming back to you in round 3, and they do have the potential to, well, they might not get into this category, but they might be just like, these guys are projected to be like 13 plus PPS. The next group might be like 11 or 12 PPS. So I might take a gamble on someone like Kai, someone like Tony. He's going very underrated in my opinion. but also if a midfielder did fall. So let's say I went Son, pick 10, and then that means like Anthony Gordon came around to me, then I might just be like, okay, instead of reaching for a Tony or a Kai, I'm going to go value. I still have my elite forward, and then I'll make sure to swing one back in the third.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
If you get one forward in one of the first 2 rounds, that gives you a bit more room to go for value the next couple rounds, because there's still some pretty good forwards rounds 5, 6. If you had Son or Isak as your forward 1, and then you waited a couple rounds and ended up getting like Muniz as your forward 2, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, it's just those guys, like, as good as they are, I think it's just more so like I guess it's, the drafting for first or last kind of strategy. Like those guys will win you weeks, but then also forwards, as we know, get it significantly less ghost points. I don't know if there's any forwards that are the exception to those, but
Good question.
yeah, so it's like so there's going to be weeks where Son and Isak will combine for like 100 points by themselves, or like 80 points, something like that. And then you pair that up with a few midfielders who could get 20 on their day, or you could be stuck with a score of like 25 at the end of that game week.
I'm going to get this information pulled up. It's going to take me a second, but I'm going to sort forwards by ghost points. And I'll be able to have that for you guys in just a second. But
I'm sure Holland is not at the top.
I don't.
He has a deceptively not high, but like higher than you think, and like
decent floor.
Yeah, it's like 7-ish.
It has to be just from shots on target. Like
no,
else.
he doesn't do anything else.
Yeah. I think I saw a game where he scored like 2-3 goals and he had like 10 touches total.
Yeah, no, there are definitely a lot of games, especially last season, because I think they sussed out how to defend against Holland. At least Arsenal did. I mean, I think he had like maybe 8 touches in 2 games against Arsenal in the Premier League last season. It pocketed him.
You guys, I'm looking at this data. If I needed any more reason to be high on Mohamed Salah this year, I swear to God, if I had a top 4 pick, I might take him.
He's going.
I'm picking 5, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with him.
So, which forward had the most ghost points last year?
Well, Salah, probably.
Nope.
Doku was a forward?
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But he's not anymore, right?
Yeah.
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 So based on the new classifications, who was the top?
Salah, 9.2.
Son has to be close, no?
Son's 7.7.
Oh,
Yeah.
oof.
Still not bad.
No.
That's respectable.
Neto.
is second. Nice job.
Nice. Ryan knows his ghosts.
Your
I
boy- your
surprised
boy-
freaking should.
Your boy Luis Diaz.
Diaz.
Mhm.
Ooh, I like Diaz.
And then your other boy's up there too, Genie. Sinistera.
Oh man, in what, his 3 starts?
Yeah, Joao.
Yeah,
Pedro.
He must have gotten 6 at least
Yeah.
to be on the Ghost Point tracker. Alvarez is probably close because he had that stretch when he had set pieces.
Yeah, Alvarez,
yeah.
7.7. Adingra's up there. Kai's up there. Darwin. Hudson Odoi. But that's basically your top, 10 or whatever, 15.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it's tough.
Where's
Something to keep in mind
Isak
as we-
at?
Yeah. No, something to keep in mind as we kind of go through these guys.
I would guess
What was-
6-ish.
For Isak?
Yeah.
Zach? That's a good question. Let's see. I just keep scrolling, and where is he? How many? He did start enough games, didn't he? Yeah, 6.4.
Yeah.
Sorry, there he is. 6.4.
Yeah.
He's just ahead of Sterling, just ahead of Calvert-Lewin, just ahead of Brennan Johnson and Frankie Muniz.
Yeah.
Just
He did get
behind-
21 goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
sense.
just behind Mbomo, just behind Bailey, just behind Jackson and Gakpo.
What's Bomo's?
Mbomo is 6.6, surprisingly low.
Wow, I thought
Yeah.
it would be higher than that.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, he's going off my
I'm not-
fucking draft board.
Yeah, I'm not surprised though, because Mbumo was
He
getting
took
all
a lot of
these points
sets
from
though.
mainly pens though. No,
I distinctly remember him taking some actual sets that weren't pens.
yeah, maybe like those like once a game when you decide to flip to the Brentford game and you're like, nice, he's on a set.
Yeah, and maybe early on when Tony was gone. I don't know.
Yeah,
Mbomo's GACS, which for listeners is goals, assist, clean sheet percentage, meaning how much of his total fantasy points does he rely on goals, assists, clean sheets for those points? He's at 45%.
oof, that is very high.
It's not Isak high, which is 54.
Oof. Isak does score though, and Newcastle don't have Europe, so
Erling Haaland is almost 60%.
there's no surprise there.
All right, in this elite group, is there anything else that you guys want to point out?
Watkins shouldn't be there, but that's probably a whole nother conversation.
I think you're being a bit too harsh on him.
It's not him per se; it's Villa as a whole.
His war rank is 16, so he is a little bit high if you look at just that. But I don't know, Ryan. I think the question is like, what are his chances of replicating last year?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if you look at his stats over the years, like he's kind of like the Odegaard of the forwards in this kind of area. He is absolutely reliable. You know exactly what you're going to get, and it just depends on whether or not he adds on top of that. So you're either going to get 12 or 13 PPS at minimum, and then he doesn't get injured. I know that they have Champions League now, but they've had Conference League last season and still finished fourth in the league. Like, Emery's a master at getting through Europe. Obviously, Champions League means you need to start your studs, but he still started his studs anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to damage them as much as other teams have in the past, or as much as everyone thinks. But we'll see. I think he's a safe pick here. Like, if the upside pick is some of the other ones, but the safe, reliable one is Watkins.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah, nice. I mean, and like it says on the bottom here, for the rest of these guys, ADP basically matches or is close to their war rank. So it's like, it's hard to argue with any of these guys where they're being taken, really, aside from unless you want to have that Watkins discussion. So,
Yeah.
cool. All right, next set. We have Luis Diaz kicking us off with ADP of 17, all the way up to Brian Mbomo, who is sitting at 41 ADP. So in between that, you've got Solanke, Kai Havertz, Julian Alvarez, Darwin Nunez, Pedro Neto, Ivan Toney, Nicholas Jackson, Mateus Cunha, and then Mbomo. And these are war ranks, basically war ranks from 14 if you're Kai, all the way up through 46. Nope, sorry, all the way up to 50 if you're Neto.
There's some guys here that like they shouldn't be here, to be honest. They're just going way too early. Like a good number, like Alvarez. I've discussed it so many times. He's already said that he's not happy with how much he plays. Pepper's like, I don't know what he's whining about. He plays a lot. You know, other clubs are looking at him already. So I think he could be on his way out. Cunha is great, but this seems a little early. And Boomer we just talked about. I don't know about Neto. I just can't trust him, to be honest.
I've been tempted by him in some mock drafts, and I just keep having to tell myself.
Yeah,
Ryan, what was the stat that you?
He averaged. You take away the one long season of, I think, 2020, 2021, and he averages like 7 starts a season.
That is fantastic.
It's like between 7 and 11, I think.
Oh goodness.
Hold on, let me pull up the D&D.
My question is, because I did pull these screenshots a couple of days ago, so my question is, if people like Alvarez maybe are falling now based on the news. Let's see, his ADP is 26 on this graphic, and I'm looking live. It's 33.8. So yeah, that is. So there you go, Jeannie. That's actually good. People are reacting.
It's still too high for me, but yeah. Alvarez is DND for me. But if anyone's in my league is listening, then I'm taking Alvarez round 1. So if you want to take him from me, but I do like the fact that like Solanke's finally getting his, due here. He is rumored to Spurs though, so that's gonna scare some people away.
Yeah, as if Spurs need more attackers.
But the thing is, I think he would actually be good for them. You keep Son out wide, and then the right side becomes a rotation nightmare with Kulu and Johnson. But then Solanke's like a proper center forward, and Son doesn't have to be asked to play all these positions.
Yeah, Son's not great there. That's true.
No.
They would be lucky to have him.
Oh, I agree. I don't know why Spurs fans are saying that Solanke, we're too good for Solanke. Solanke would improve that team so much.
Pure delusion.
It's just because he's on Bournemouth. If he were on any other team and playing the way that he is and putting up the numbers that he is, he would be. I mean,
they got Richarlison from Everton, and they were banging on about how he's the next Harry Kane.
Yep, exactly. That's a great comparison. Yeah. All right. Who from this group do you like at their ADP?
Tony.
A healthy Cunha.
Yeah. I like Nunez as my bold claim, but I would be terrified to take him in the second round with 21 games projected start. Be punching the air every Saturday morning.
It wasn't fun last year.
And he's even gone up since I took this screenshot. He is at 26.3 right now.
Oh God!
Which is basically what, like pick 2 or 3 of the third round.
Yeah, pick 2.
Yeah.
I like Solanke a lot this year, to be honest. I like Kai as well. And Tony. Those are and of course Jackson. We all know I love Jackson, but yeah, not really the rest.
Jackson in the third though.
Hey, dude, I might take him in the second.
Wow. Okay.
And you guys know that was a serious conversation. That I'm genuinely considering it.
Yeah, no, I know. I knew you were serious, but you're not at all concerned about them bringing a striker in.
No, it's Chelsea. It's all talk. They do this every year. I'm not worried. Or they'll bring in a striker. He'll play the first 3 games, not score, go Werner style, and then Jackson will start the rest of the season.
Interesting. All right. Second round. You're welcome to do that in the league that we're in together.
I just might.
Actually, you pick right after me in the second round. Doesn't matter anyway. Doesn't matter at all. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, these are interesting names. Aside from Neto, and you mentioned Alvarez already, are there guys here that you don't trust?
I want Ryan's opinion on Kai this early because I do like him, but it's just scary.
23, and Ryan, he's actually moved up to 20.5.
Wow. So he's not even close to the third round anymore. He's firmly mid-second round.
Mid-second round.
Wow. That's exactly where I pick in the second round in one of my leagues.
Oh, man.
The one where I'm going Salah probably in the first round. Salah Kai, that's interesting.
That's tempting.
I was going to say, it sounds like either you could definitely have Kai or you for sure aren't going to. Because if you don't take him, it sounds like he's going to go one of those couple picks right after you.
Yeah, there's no way he's coming back to me in the third at 28, 29.
Yeah.
I like Kai. I mean, you have to based on his second half of the season returns. I just have this weird nagging feeling that like Jesus is going to be too good for him to be consistently out of the lineup. Now that doesn't mean necessarily he's going to be the striker. I mean, he could play any wing.
But you know that people want us to have this conversation. So, I mean, how scared are you of Jesus taking that spot? He's had a great preseason. People point to that.
Yeah, he's on fire in preseason. 2 goals, 1 assist so far.
Yeah, and it's not like a fluke. It makes sense given the fact that he had that knee injury all of last season, and he finally took care of it in surgery, and didn't have any tournaments this summer. Was just able to just rehab it and just hit the gym. Oh man! So if I took Kai, I would feel a lot better about it. If I took Jesus also in like the 7th round, so that would probably be my play. If I do decide to take Kai at 20, then yeah, I would definitely pair him with Jesus just to feel better.
And then you're holding both of them all season.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Just making sure. Yeah, just know that's the situation that you're putting yourself in. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but think about last season with Trossard and Martinelli. Like, you felt like a fool if you drafted Martinelli and then didn't have to start to back him up, because that position is money.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything on this second group, guys? Anything else?
All good.
I think, I just want to go back to Alvarez real quick. He's getting into value territory if he keeps dropping.
Not if
the
he
counter.
leaves, though.
The counter to your argument is that City have all the leverage. I think he's signed up for 2 or 3 more years.
Yeah, it's got to be.
They definitely don't have to sell him. They could be dicks about it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first or the last time that they would do that. Plus, like, everybody complains about minutes with Pep. Like, it's not like this is a big or unique situation.
The thing is,
I think there's
it's like breaking today that Atletico is about to make a bid for him. That's the big.
And they're also can be very cheap, so I doubt that they would hit the valuation that City would want. I'm just saying that there's a world in which he stays, and that if he's around this ADP, he's value, as opposed to like where he was previously in the 2nd round, where it's like, oh, that risk, like, I doubt I would take it.
So would you take him in the 3rd if he fell to you, like mid-3rd?
That's the territory where I really start contemplating it. Depends on where the rumors are at that point.
Okay, that's fair.
Guys, his contract expires June 30th, 2028.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was 0 leverage.
No.
Yeah, the problem is he's at the Olympics, so I think these rumors are going to swirl till he gets back. And
this could go well after people's drafts have already commenced.
Yeah, like even by game week 1, we still might be hearing, PSG or Atletico or whoever.
It's a almost exactly Kane situation. Mm-hmm. You have a really good player that 50-50 on whether they leave, drops to the 3rd round or whenever people think he's too much value to pass up, and either wins your league or fucks it up.
Yep. All right. Let's look at the next group, because oddly, these guys, you're going to feel a little bit more comfortable drafting, which is interesting to say, because you're getting them later in the draft. But not that they're going to be as explosive or you're going to have as high of a points per start number, but still, they just seem fairly safe, a lot of them. So from an ADP of 45 to 73, we're looking at Joao Pedro, Diogo Jota, Christopher Nkunku, Cody Gakpo, JP Mateta, Brennan Johnson, Rasmus Højlund, Rodrigo Muniz, and Antoine Semenyo. Now, I did take this information before Højlund's injury. So, yeah, let's see where he currently is going. He's got an ADP of 59, which is higher then
Well, the injury news just broke like a day ago.
oh, okay, true.
Yeah, Hoyland for me. I wrote about it in our forecast update, but I don't think I'm gonna be taking him until like at least the eighth round, ninth round. It's giving me PTSD to last year. I rostered Hoyland in a league, and they're like, "Oh, he'll be back in 4 weeks." It ended up being like 6+ weeks, and then we knew how long it took him to score more than 3 points in
Please check his ghost point numbers.
It's horrible. I rostered him. I don't even need to check.
It must be in the like 3s or 4s. Yeah.
It has to be less than 5. I remember, unless he scored, I lost that game week.
4.2.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Higher than I thought, to be honest.
4.2 ghost points per start.
Yeah, for him in the 8th round, if you already have like 3 forwards or even 2 forwards and you take him in the 8th, it's as a 4-3, 4-4. I truly don't mind that.
Wow, 4.2. That's bad. He's right there with Eddie Nketiah.
Oh God.
Who shall not be named.
Eddie Nketiah is well known for being incredibly goal dependent.
That's bad.
All right. I'm a little bit nervous with Jota and Gakpo, obviously.
Yeah.
Jota goes this early every season,
I know.
and people know that he's rotated and injury prone. I don't get it. I've never rostered him. I don't think I ever will.
And he's dropped in many leagues at some point in the year.
And I think even we have learned from last year, because we got kind of called out last year, and I think rightly actually, because everybody was really jazzed about Liverpool forwards, but the overarching, I guess, idea behind it was, look, there's only 3 slots. Like, how many of these guys can you really rank within your top 50? Because it's just not possible for them to share the points around and still all end that high.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And we have no idea, because of the late returning players from their international games, how Slot is planning to go, especially with the left. I think is the biggest debate with Gakpo and Diaz, because Gakpo's looked like a player in the Euros, and Diaz, there's rumors of him leaving as well, Diaz, but we just don't know who Slot prefers there. And it goes the same up top. If Nunes misses like 3 open nets in the first 2 games, then he could be on the bench until when. And then when Jota gets injured mid-season and people drop him, then Nunes will go back, and then it's such a mess with these Liverpool forwards other than Salah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize I killed Jota and Gakpo in my ranks. I have them at 71 and 75.
Oof.
I must.
You guys have them in the 40s. No, actually, take it back. Oh no, yeah, you have them in the 40s. Toddy has Gakpo at 62. Robbie has him at 50. And then you two are basically round about the 40s. Jeannie, you actually have Gakpo higher than Jota.
Yeah, I think, because I do think he might win the left.
I think I should have Gakpo higher than Jota.
Yep. Sorry, you do 3 slots. Yeah, yours is closer. Jeannie's got him 10 spots higher.
Yeah. I don't think he's gotten injured yet, and I think we both were impressed with how well he did with the Dutch.
Yeah, totally.
Plus the Dutch connection with Slot. I don't know. We'll see.
I have a sneaking suspicion that unless Darwin gets a ban, that Slot's going to try to make that work. That's still one of those marquee signings for Liverpool that they just kind of can't afford for it not to work out.
Yeah, front office must be putting some pressure on.
Exactly.
Be like, we spent a lot of money on this uncharacteristically. Like, can't give up on him now.
That's my thought.
Plus, from everything I've read, he fits the like prototypical tip of the spear for a slot system. So, like, I think he'll at least get the the first chance to show what he can do.
Yeah. So you won't catch me drafting Jota or Gakpo because I'm not going to pay that price.
I probably won't either. I would love to see what Gakpo could do if he was just kind of unhindered by all of this rotation. If Diaz and Jota left tomorrow, where would you draft Gakpo?
Diaz and Jota.
I'd draft
Third?
Gakpo like round 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, round 3 probably for me.
Yeah. Fair.
Maybe early round 3 even. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's going to be a shot on target monster.
Yeah, we saw that with our bets in the Euro.
Yeah, that was consistent as gravity, that one.
Let me see, actually, what DraftLad has for projections. DraftLad has Jota starting 17 matches.
Gakpo 22, Darwin 21. Oh, this is a right mess.
Darwin just 21, huh? Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. He doesn't usually get injured, and like we said, he'll at least start game week 1 as the striker.
I'm really surprised to see him have Gakpo with more.
Maybe that's based off of slot rotating previously.
Yeah. Huh.
So yeah, it's not injuries, I don't think.
That is interesting.
How many starts did he have last season?
Great question. Which one?
Who, Nunes?
Nunez.
It was like 20-something. Yeah, 22. And 36 games played. So he was fit all year, but only got 22 starts.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
19 the year before with 29 games played. Similar kind of output, 9.3
Damn.
FP per G, 9 goals, 11 goals. More assists last year, though.
That's the thing, for all the shit that Darwin takes, he had 12.6 points per start. I mean...
I think the shit's more so for his real life production.
Just for missing sitters, yeah.
Well, I mean, as a fantasy manager, I can give him shit for that, too. I took him early third round, and it was not fun at all.
Well, I mean, this year you're going to have to pay even more than that if you want.
Yeah, that's shoot, man. I told you Jackson's the move.
I would take Darwin 6 times
Over Jackson?
over Jackson, yeah.
That would be a
man.
good bet.
Yeah, it's...
End of season.
Do you want to die by crack or heroin? Actually, Jackson's probably like bath salts.
Yeah. Eating people's faces off. That's fair. All right.
I like Nkunku in this group. I know it's weird, but I do.
No, I like Nkunku. I like
in the 4th. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Fourth,
higher.
you can. I've seen him go 5th too. I think it's going to depend on the Chelsea fans in your league. Probably that one.
Be tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'd use a 3rd on him.
No, I don't think I would either. It's weird. The everybody in the 3rd seems like a reach, and everybody in the 4th and 5th seems like value.
Yeah. When you mentioned that this morning, I was looking. I was like,
it's so weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Honestly, like every 3rd round that comes around, I'm just like, oh God, I don't want any of these guys. But shit, if this guy stays to the 4th, absolutely.
So trade that 3rd for an extra 4th. That's what.
All right, so
honestly, that might be the play.
I have the mock draft that Genie just wrote up for the draft kit, which is really good. He goes through round by round and talks about the value picks and the risky picks and those kind of things. So you guys are talking about the 3rd, right? The 3rd in this draft was Tony, Mbomo, Jackson, Neto, Gakpo. Went 3-12. Wow. And then the 4th was Cunha, Nkunku, Pedro, Alvarez. And these are drafters who know what they're doing. You definitely saw Alvarez fall quite a bit here. The 5th, Mateta, Muniz, Jota, Jesus, Johnson, Rashford.
Oof, Rashford is gonna go higher with this news.
I thought he was hurt too.
9.
I think Rashford was just a cramp or something.
5'9"
okay.
is high for Rashford after last year.
High for Jesus too. I wouldn't take him in the 5th.
No.
I like a lot more targets that are more reliable and have some certainty.
That's somebody reacting to preseason, right? Like that's somebody overreacting.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm not taking Rashford with that pick, to be honest, but I do think that's where he'll go.
Yeah. All right, so we're pushing Højlund down. I don't mind Muniz and Semenyo as long as you're not reaching on them, but I think they're both good. Like you were saying, Ryan, your forward 2s.
Yeah.
6th, yes, 5th, early 6th maybe for both.
Yeah. And Mateta is fine as long as you know what you're getting, right? Like you have to know that you're getting a pretty goal-dependent forward. You probably don't want him as your forward 1. He's also going to miss the start of the season.
He's a D&D for me, to be honest. He's just going too high.
Me too. Yeah, 100%. I think that the Palace inflation is getting too crazy.
That's true.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Ole saying.
Plus, there's rumors of him winning out.
Ooh, I didn't see those.
Yeah, I've seen a swap with Villa and Duran on the cards because they want, I think, somebody to be able to rotate in for Watkins because they've
would he go to be
just
a backup?
played him too much. He says that he wants. It's funny because the tweet that I saw said that he's demanding Champions League football or something, or he wants Champions League football. And I tweeted out, I was like, he's not good enough to want Champions League football. Like, it's not for everybody. You don't get to demand Champions League football. You're lucky to be at Palace.
I think he could be a 3rd string for a Champions League team, maybe. Like he'll get
backup
on
is
the
fine.
bench. Yeah. He won't get any minutes, but he'll sit on that.
Yeah, you'll get to hear the anthem. You're not going to play.
He wasn't even starting for Palace until his little renaissance last year.
Yeah. He's an interesting guy.
Hubris.
That's weird. Oh, yeah. Okay, well,
plus, he's like a 40-year-old on a team of like 12-year-olds with France. Him and Lacazette. It's so funny. He's not even that old, but Lacazette is so funny.
Yeah, Mateta's 27, it looks like.
Yeah. Lacazette's like 33, 34, and it's supposed to be a U23 tournament.
Oh, don't kill me.
You can only have, what is it, 2 or 3?
I think it's 3.
Yeah, above.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The U.S. got absolutely annihilated by Morocco today, by the way.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Unlucky for the penalty that then, we just were suicidal and just kept on letting in goals.
4-0. Jeannie, what are you tossing around?
Can't open
my AirPods case just dropped.
Joao Pedro at 45?
Scares me.
I like him a lot this year. I can't lie. Like in the 4th, I think like if I don't have 2 forwards, he might be the guy I jump at.
Huh. Interesting.
Scares me for some reason. I just don't.
Brighton
he's not a striker and he's not a prototypical winger, and they have so many options at both.
He's on pens though, so
probably, but that's not confirmed yet. I don't think he's taken one in preseason yet.
Why would Matoma not be?
Oh, Brighton have been garbage in preseason. If it helps, other than
I think there's going to be some growing pains.
Yeah,
and there's just too many bodies. I'm very nervous about Brighton.
Yeah, he's not a D&D, but he's like, I think it'd have to be like the 5th, to be honest. And I doubt he's going to last that long. And I totally get like the argument for him, but I just have a feeling.
That's fair.
All right, next group. Marcus Rashford kicks us off. ADP of 77.
Motley crew here.
We also, we talked about a bunch of these already. Gabriel Jesus, ADP of 88. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Steffi Malvididi, Anthony Alanga, Abdul Fatu, Joshua Xerxes, Yohan Wissa, Adam Armstrong, wow, and Callum Hudson-Odoi. That's ADP 77 to 115. Now, I do want to just check really quickly because I know several of these players have been just shooting up draft boards. I've seen Hudson-Odoi go in like the 6th in a few mocks. His ADP is 109 now.
I've seen the Leicester boys go in the 7th, which is insane to me. The people are forgetting their promoted team. 2 guys who have never played in the Prem in their life. I'm not touching them.
But that's interesting, Jeannie, because that must just be whatever mocks you did with veterans, because their ADP hasn't changed.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I wrote about Leicester a bit in the forecast update. Their preseason has not been good. Our fans are like, this team is coming 20th.
They're going to get points deduction too.
Has 1 deflected goal and 1 penalty. The other winger, Fatua, he's looked a lot better, but no returns. For the 7th round, 2 they're young, man. They're like 19, 20, I think. Yeah. Never played in the Prem. Like, they should be going 10th, 11th as like some punts, but like they were in my sleepers at the beginning of our early draft kit days. But now that I see them in the 7th, I'm all out, man.
Yeah, people have woken up.
Yeah, it's hipster inflation.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I heard you mentioning that with the draft offsides guys.
Yeah, it's that entry I have every year in the overvalued article. It's promoted players. It's just like, it's a weird phenomenon where guys in your league just want to be seen as hipster savants, and pretending that they watched the championship all last season.
And this is some guy's going to take Leif Davis in the 5th round and think that he's won his league.
Yeah. And the real gems from the promoted teams will be the Alfie Dowdies that you can get game week 8 off the wire.
Yeah, once it becomes clear how the teams play and where the actual points are coming from on those teams. Yeah.
Yeah, we could see one of these Leicester guys lose their place, to be honest, if a new signing comes in and then all of a sudden just dropping them. Yeah.
Reese. Oh, that'd be so sweet. Are you taking him in drafts? Do you like him anywhere? Like
late.
Yeah.
Depending on where the rumors are. I could see him staying just as a rotation piece for Saka for the last 10 minutes every 5th game. But like Smith Rowe, he's been pushing, I think, to leave to get more game time. So depends on if we bring somebody in.
Yeah.
Why is Adam Armstrong in this group? I'm sorry. That guy should not be drafted.
Have any idea.
In my Southampton forecast and Southampton flashback, I said, do not draft Adam Armstrong. Like, I think I said it at least 5 times. There's no reason.
His ghosts are like 2-ish, right?
I think it was less.
Yeah, he's going to have no ghosts. He's going to be super goal dependent.
And he's not going to score many goals. Southampton have looked horrible in preseason as well. And they've just signed Brenton Diaz, or he's
Ben Diaz.
Yeah, I'd rather take him over Armstrong, but even then, it's like, I'd rather take an extra defender.
Is it maybe Fantrax projections? Is that what's happening here? Are people seeing those and getting super excited?
Oh, I think it's part of the hipster inflation theory as well. One of the promoted teams, he was their top goal scorer. I can sneak in a pick and steal a march on my league mates because I've heard of him. Yeah, it's all garbage.
Only to drop him after game week 2.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I'm looking at ADP on Fantrax, and there are easily 7 forwards I would take that are after him.
I'd rather not take a forward at all. If it came down to a forward 2 and Armstrong, or just piling in the defenders and midfielders, I'd just go that route.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
You're literally asking for 0.5, and then if he scores a goal, you're getting 9.5 maybe. 10, 10 on a good day. I'm trying to see something here. His highest score last time he was in the Prem was 15, 12, and those were the only times he got double digits.
He got just transferred to the team though.
He got negatives a few times when starting, so there's that. -3, -1, -0.5, -0.5.
That's
0.5, 0.5.
And they're not going to have enough scoring opportunities. I mean, they're gonna have a couple a game and have to try to capitalize on them.
We're forgetting that they're without Ward-Prowse this time as well.
Yeah. No.
Smallbone is definitely no Ward-Prowse. He's like Ward-Prowse, not even junior. Ward-Prowse is in like kindergarten maybe.
Guys, what do you make of Anthony Alonga? Nobody's talking about him this preseason.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe Ryan has a better take there.
I've never been a big fan. I'd rather CHO if I'm gonna do a random, or Chris Wood for that matter. I'm gonna do a random forward.
Even with Jota Silva signing.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that, dude.
Okay, that's fair.
He had a game against Newcastle where he scored 27 points. With
Alenga?
Yeah, with 2 assists. But that's a lot of ghosts still.
Yeah, he's actually had some good
He had his moments.
United, 18.75 points. Cooked them. Wow.
Well,
he had a good game against Spurs as well, Chelsea as well. Newcastle. He likes playing against the big teams.
9.2 points per start. He had 25 starts, which I wouldn't have thought it was that many.
Huh.
He started
5.9 ghosts.
Oh.
And here's
it's pretty bad for a winger.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh, would you say 5.9? That is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust him to start then.
So Mateta must have heard us.
At this point in the draft, I think that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's decent value. Huh. Okay.
Mateta got the winner against Argentina.
Good for him.
Listening to the pod on the bench.
Yeah. Full circle, Alvarez is coming back early. And Mateta's scoring goals.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Oh. So now we might get some clearer updates on his future.
Yeah, he still needs 3 weeks rest, so that puts us game week 2.
But my hope is that now that he's back, agents will start talking, and there'll at least be some sort of rumor mill.
Yeah, I'm just
update.
kind of trying to calculate when he would, if he stays, when the earliest he would probably be starting. That puts us at probably. Comes back training game week 2, and then game week 3 would probably be the earliest.
Yeah, then we have the international break. So.
Yep.
Damn.
All
and
right,
then
guys.
the window's closed.
We got one more group, unless you want to pause on any of these gents. Jeannie, what about Xerxes?
Yeah, that was the only one I was going to say. I think he's going to go much higher with Hoyland's injury. I think the earliest I'd be comfortable taking him is like the 7th. Still, I'm not jumping at him at like the 5th or the 6th. Like Hoyland was only going in the end of 6th with this when he was fit. So I'm not putting Zerke too high. I definitely take him over Mateta though, because he's DND. I take him over the Leicester boys probably as well.
Okay.
And then Elanga as well. I'll take anyone over Armstrong and Wissa. I think I'd still take Rashford over Xerxes though.
All right. Last group, we have, this one's a little bit hard to read. Let me kind of narrate this because it's a handful of players, and they're all over the board, to be completely honest. I mean, it's kind of wild, actually. ADP 119 all the way up through 151. You have Savio to kick us off, Richarlison, Jamie Vardy, Igor Thiago, the now injured Igor Thiago, Hwang Hee-chan, Timo Werner, Chris Wood, Eddie Nketiah, Raheem Sterling, Ilman Njai, Jaden Sancho, Maynard Solomon, and Connor Chaplin. Oh. This is like...
This is what I'm saying about Ford's literally falling off a cliff.
I mean...
Like, what rounds is this? Like, what does ADP
This
is
is
like
10-ish.
120?
It's got to be.
Yeah, but there's still some decent mids in round 10. Like, in the recent mock, you could have got Harvey Elliott. You could have got Kevin Schade. Could have
This is
got
defender territory for me.
Yeah,
Tonali.
This is what, 10 through like 14.
Morgan Rogers. Like, man, I'd rather take any of those midfielders over Chris Ward. Oh, I like
There's a couple
NDI.
of guys I like in here.
I don't like Sancho. I don't like Solomon. I don't like Chaplin. Don't like Warner, Huang, Igor, Vardy's. I don't get why people think Vardy's starting. It's going to be Daka. That's confusing to me. And Vardy's injured already, anyways. So
It's his name.
I think they'll share. I think they'll share matches.
I think Ayu's going to come in and bench them both.
God.
That's true.
Yeah, if I were
Wood
a
and
Leicester
Jai are
fan-
the only ones here.
If I were a Leicester fan and they signed Ayu, I would be like, "What the fuck are we doing here?"
To fix their goal scoring problems.
Right.
You can't score goals and you sign the most. Well, Tati must be working in the back room there.
Savio's the sexy name that everyone's talking about. Draft Lad has him projected for 10 starts.
If Alvarez leaves, I mean, he
Yeah, that's
becomes
the
a
only
little bit
thing,
more
right?
palatable.
Yeah. But as it stands, as your 10th round pick, hell no. There's still a lot of talent in the 10th round.
Yeah. Even Richarlison, he already has another injury, and if Solanke does come in, Richarlison's useless.
If they don't sell him to Saudi, they're just dumb.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's so do not draft for me. That's
Me too. I'm not touching. Even if I take a Spurs guy, I'm not I'm not using Richarlison as like a handcuff type of thing.
Igor's out for months. He's going to get dropped by whatever manager drafts him.
By accident.
Yeah. Ryan, you want to talk about Huang? Because we've got an interesting development in the forward lines at Wolves.
Yeah, I thought Wolves were going to sell Huang this summer. It looked like Marseille, some others in the French league were very interested, and they just brought in Jorgen Strand Larsen. So I thought it might be his time to go, but hasn't happened yet. So I guess we have to assume he's going to stay. Too streaky, too goal dependent for me. He had his purple patch last season for sure. Can't take that away from him, but I just don't think he's going to start consistently, and he's just, like I said, too streaky and goal dependent for my liking. Plus, he could be on the outs, so he's D&D for me.
His ghost points per start are the exact same as Rasmus Højlund.
Nice.
Yep, good company.
Nice.
He's like 22 with a brace kind of guy.
54% reliance on goals, assists, clean sheets.
Yeah, he gets injuries as well. So
I wouldn't waste the draft capital there if it's me.
No.
yeah,
No, I'm not touching it.
yeah. Wood and Jai are the only, I think, draftable ones here.
Now,
Is Sancho a forward?
It really doesn't matter. He's going to be off somewhere anyways. He is a forward though. I checked 2 days ago or something. I was confused.
Was he a mid last time?
Yeah, he's always been a mid, so I don't know.
That's
why the
so
change.
weird. Leaves on loan, comes back a forward. He just transitioned.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
shout
I'm
out-
not,
Identifies as a forward.
Right. Shout out to Tom Husband, who's incredible and wrote a couple of our team previews this preseason as a guest writer. Amazing job. And today in the Inner Circle Discord, which people should join if you're not in there yet. If you're part of the Inner Circle, if you buy the Ultimate Pass, even if you buy the draft kit, come on and join the Inner Circle because it's where a lot of really good kind of insider discussions happen. But anyway, people were talking about, I think we're we're drafting Connor Chaplin too low. I think he could actually be pretty good. And Tom basically responded to that with, please read my Ipswich article and read it for all the reasons as to why you should not draft him. He's adamant.
He's become one of us.
Yeah.
Writes one article and now I like it.
Yeah, please read the article, and then you'll no longer want to draft Connor Chaplin. So he's pretty convinced that he won't be a fantasy asset, at least not a dependable one.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Okay, so we've gotten down through pick 151. Obviously, it's going to change a little bit as people get closer to their drafts, but guys, are there some names that do not appear on this list that you're keeping your eye on?
I'll throw out a name.
Okay.
Rodrigo Gomez is a Wolves Portuguese project in a long line of young Portuguese projects. Comes from Sporting Braga Academy, which spawned Pedro Neto. So has he come in to replace Neto? TBD. But he's a great prospect from what I can see and what I've read. And with a few injuries seemingly in the front line, he could, and if Neto leaves, he could get his chance. He's one of those that if you drafted him, you'd probably drop him in the first couple weeks. But he's definitely one to like keep an eye on, and if he cracks the starting lineup, he could be good.
He does feature in the forecast update because he's been tearing it up in preseason.
Yeah, he had a brace
So
one
far.
game.
Yeah, I guess that's the top scorer for them for Wolves so far. Him and Cunha, but yeah, that's a good name. I also like what's his name? Brenton Diaz as well. We mentioned him, but I mean this late if you're that desperate. And Patson Daka, who's gonna start. I know, round 16. Why not?
Yeah, I mean you can get him very, very late. We know his issues in the past with scoring goals, but yeah, I don't mind him. Some other names to mention, potentially the aforementioned Jorgen Strand Larsen, if you think he's gonna kick on and score some goals. Ryan, we mentioned Reese Nelson potentially as a late flyer.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a decent one.
Duran, if you want to take a punt on him getting a move.
Yeah, Duran's not a bad one. Let me just check this mock draft real quick, Jeannie, to see if there's other ones that people took as flyers late on. Let's see. Dennis Undav. Some people are holding out hope that he sticks around at Brighton. Some people thinking Philogene will actually get a sniff in the Villa team. I don't, but Ryan, you wrote the forecast on that one.
Yeah, I think he's got a shot. I think most people, myself included, probably think Rodgers has the chance to make that spot his own, but he's very highly rated at Villa, which is why they brought him back. So if injuries and other things go his way, he'll have a shot. But I don't think I'd draft him. I think he's another one in the ilk of Gomez, where it's like, yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on him during the season, and if he gets his chance, then yeah, I'll take a punt.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Do you guys have any? Now we're just like getting really, really into the weeds. But do you guys have any hope for Liam Delap at Ipswich?
Not really. I mean, like I said, I'm pretty down on these promoted guys.
Yeah.
They don't score enough goals. Their early fixtures are fucking dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Still finding their feet. Like I said, I'm just waiting at least 4 or 5 game weeks for the dust to settle to see if any of these guys are actually viable. I just don't think they're worth draft capital.
The last one I would throw out, and this is another, cross your fingers and hope for a move, but there has been talk of loaning out Ben Doak from Liverpool, and that would be That would be a good one.
Is he forward?
He is.
I always thought it was like a weird, I don't know, left back or something.
No, it's because he's a little guy. That's why you're thinking that, because because of his build. But yeah, he's a forward.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
And yeah, if he gets a move to somewhere that he's actually going to get minutes, he'll be good for fantasy points. I'm pretty sure. Anything else, Draft Genie?
He had to leave.
No, he took off. All right, cool.
Yep.
Anything else, Ryan Barnes?
I don't think so. I think we've run the gamut for forwards.
I think we've exhausted it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Every punt, every nook.
Yeah. Well, listeners, there will not be a goalkeeper show specifically, but if you have any questions about goalkeepers, feel free to hit us up on the Discord. If you're not on the Discord, by the way, get there now. Go ahead and join the Discord. There's a larger Discord for the kind of EPL draft community, and then there are more specialized and even some private Discords for Inner Circle members and different folks like that. So please get on the Discord because that's where we're at. That's where the conversations are happening. Twitter is dead. So get on Discord and chat us up, and we'll be happy to share with you some thoughts on goalkeepers. But aside from that, for everyone who has drafts coming up relatively soon, best of luck, and I hope these positional preview shows really helped. I got to go try to get this one uploaded before the weekend drafts here, so I better sign us off. For the KPC, Joe, this has been Ryan. Everyone have a good time.
It has been.
It has been. Thanks all. We love you. Cheers.
Cheers.